So this is a question or a thought that I had recently that I think a lot of people right now are actually having, and it's essentially the question of, should Kyle Kulinski from Secular Talk either denounce or criticize Joe Rogan publicly, or maybe do something behind the scenes to combat all of the crazy shit that Joe Rogan has been saying lately? And so all of the crazy stuff that Joe Rogan has been saying lately about coronavirus vaccines. Recall that he defended Ted Cruz in light of him running away from his state after a snowstorm devastated his state, and AOC and Beto O'Rourke raised millions of dollars and actually got their people help. You saw him with Dan Crenshaw, and him be. I don't know if he was pretending to be shocked that people got the stimulus checks even if they weren't unemployed as a result. I don't know if he was pretending or if he was just that out of touch. There's so many things, and on coronavirus, he's been absolutely brutally horrible. At what point should Kyle Kulinski at least publicly criticize him, or he could, really flex maybe some of his influence? I mean, he's supposedly at least Joe Rogan's favorite political commentator. I don't know if he's messaging him behind the scenes or not, but obviously you guys know Kyle Kulinski is probably the biggest Joe Rogan fan on the planet, and so it's very unlikely he will denounce him or even publicly criticize him. I saw that video he made in response and analyzing the situation where Joe Rogan quote-unquote apologized because he lied about Antifa setting fires in Oregon. But it was very clearly an apology that was only issued because Spotify pressured him, and he didn't make any mention of that. He just talked about Iraq. And so clearly he's just going to kind of be a defense mechanism for the guy. So, honestly, the stuff that Joe Rogan has said, if it was anybody with less influence, I would have said that completely denouncing the guy would have been not only justified, but probably the right move, considering all the COVIDiot trutherism he's been taking a part in. But considering his influence and obviously the emotional attachment that Kyle Kulinski has, I think some constructive public criticism in video format, or I don't know if he's talking to him behind the scenes, trying to talk some sense into him. I really have no idea what's going on in Kyle's head right now, because Joe Rogan has completely gone rogue, and he's turned into this full-on, Republican conservative guy who's defending Ted Cruz. It's clear that after that Spotify deal where he got $100 million, he's now completely done this weird 180 change into where he's just something completely different. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it, to be honest. It seems like he was just faking an image, and then now all of a sudden, once he got the money and security, now this is what he is doing. I'm not really sure. He's become part of the rich club, obviously. His whole product was made to make fun of those rich and elite people, but now he is one of those rich and elite people, and so it's completely ruined his product, and we're seeing that essentially on a daily basis. Now, I think that was the last Joe Rogan video of his I seen or that was uploaded, period. I don't think he's made a video on Joe Rogan in a long time, so I don't know if that signals anything. His last video about Joe Rogan, I think, was just reflecting on his appearance on Joe Rogan, where he went on for the election day. So I'm not really sure, but I'm definitely curious to hear your thoughts, because what you just saw the other day, where Joe Rogan was saying that young people shouldn't get vaccinated, was so irresponsible. All of the stuff that he's been saying about coronavirus has been irresponsible. He was downplaying coronavirus. And also another thing too is he's become this, his podcast has just become a right-wing echo chamber now. I mean, he really has no lefties on, and I know this is a big thing for Kyle Kulinski, and a big argument that he had, saying that basically, it's important to, rather than deplatform Joe Rogan or quote-unquote cancel Joe Rogan, you should basically go on there, try to get on there to make your case. And it just doesn't appear that he's really having on any lefties anymore. It just seems like it's all just a bunch of conservative right-wing douchebags like Dan Crenshaw and others. So I don't really see that occurring at all in any way, shape, or form. So that's become another issue at hand, honestly. And so, at what point do you have to at least do some even tepid or mild criticism? He hasn't done that. I think he's just been pretending like nothing's going on. Maybe I've missed the videos. I'm not really sure. I mean, shoot, you can let me know. I haven't seen them, but I know a lot of people are going to really maybe start to lose trust or faith in Kyle. Maybe these are people who weren't fans of him in the first place, or maybe not anymore, or were on the edge. But I do know there's definitely a lot of people who are going to be basically, lose faith in him for not calling out Joe Rogan and having this kind of blind spot for the guy. But I do think at the very least there should be some public criticism levied, or if he can do some kind of influential private role, I would say that would be good too, like messaging him like, hey dude, you stop being a fucking idiot, obviously not in those terms, educating him, full on denouncing and separating yourself. If it was anybody else with less influence, I would say that would definitely be, I mean, this guy's turned into a COVIDiot. I don't really know what else you could do. But because of his extreme influence, I think it's actually probably a bad idea to full on denounce. And obviously, considering his emotional attachment to the guy, he's not going to do that anyways. So more realistic options are public criticism of some kind that's constructive. It can be constructive. Or you're speaking to him and trying to influence him in the right direction. I don't even know. Who knows what their relationship is at this point. I mean, I think that they had... I think they said publicly, they were texting each other, so that implies they have each other's phone numbers. Joe Rogan has openly said Kyle Kulinski is his favorite political commentator because he brings on this kind of other left-wing perspective that kind of gets left out in favor of liberal versus conservative. And so that's kind of the situation here. I really don't see him coming out and denouncing him publicly. That's very unlikely, but he definitely has to say at least something with all of the crazy shit that Joe Rogan has said and this kind of turn he's taken. I mean, are they even on speaking terms? I'm not really sure. But considering all the Ted Cruz stuff and Republican stuff Joe Rogan has been doing, I don't know. I find it hard to believe that Kyle would at least have not batted an eye of some kind and been like, what's going on here? And, tried to sort of, sort of show his influence or try to flex his influence and try to steer him in the right direction. He's obviously the one with the power on that. But this is definitely going to reignite the debate that was had between Mike Figueredo and Kyle Kulinski when it comes to the issue of, the issue essentially like platforming Joe Rogan or going on Joe Rogan's platform versus not doing so. So that might, relight a fire in this. I do want to know what you guys think about this situation. If Kyle Kulinski is to just stay radio silent on Joe Rogan and all the stuff he's been doing, are you going to lose faith in Joe Rogan? That's or not Joe Rogan. I mean, he's already done. Kyle Kulinski. Are you going to lose faith in Kyle Kulinski? That's really the question here at hand, because I think a lot of people actually will lose faith in the guy. So I'm not really exactly sure here. Hopefully he will say something. I'm not really sure, but this is a question I think myself and a lot of others are asking themselves is, okay, when should we definitely, certainly expect and demand some sort of criticism or some kind of comment? I don't really know, but Kyle Kulinski is probably the biggest Joe Rogan fan on the entire planet, so don't hold your breath.